This is You're Probably Right. Entertainment first, everything else is just bonus. Opinions, all ours. Sometimes backed by research, but never the final word. There are always exceptions, so take it with a grain of salt and a slight dusting of chili powder.
That's the fight and the fright, we're searching for truth. The quiet answer stays inside. You are probably right, it cuts but it heals, it stings but it feels. You are probably right, I'm born to the cure, the pain in my soul. From gliding to ignite, we're finding the way. From biting to inside, what shadows give way.
Yo, what's up? How you doing? This is MCM, and you have stepped in it again. Another episode of You're Probably Right, episode 248. Every breath you take. Was he really the one who got away? That's the question we're going to try to answer today. I would just like to officially welcome you to the podcast. If you've never been here before, welcome to my first-time listeners. Welcome to my regular listeners and maybe my last-time listeners. Who knows? We are broadcasting straight out of a little place I like to call Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And yes, I'm a Canadian. What do you think about that? All right. Who knows? You never know. Ever since the Six and Drake and Kendrick and hockey, all kinds of stuff. Who knows? Anyhow, I'm going to go through a special episode today. You know, everybody always tells you to move on after maybe a bad breakup, maybe misunderstandings, maybe a relationship that broke up. There was no counseling. People didn't know their left foot from the right foot. People were sure, maybe you were sure that you were doing everything correctly. Maybe you were helped by your friends who had no clue. And now you're left with all kinds of questions, unanswered situations, and, you know, everything else that goes on in your head, right? So that's what we're going to get into today. Okay, listen. It's late. Maybe. Maybe you're in your car, headlights washing over an empty road. Maybe you're curled up in bed. The house is quiet, except for the hum of the fridge. Wherever you are, it's just you and your thoughts. And then there he is. Not in the flesh, but in your mind. The man who once had your heart. The one who made you feel like no one else ever did. The one who left, or maybe the one you walked away from. And you ask yourself, almost like a whisper, was he the one who got away? Or was he just the one who broke me? Tonight, we're not going to skim the surface. I'm going to take you into the rooms, the nights, the memories you know too well. We're going to live the stories together. Slowly, carefully, almost like turning the pages of a novel. Because this isn't about quick answers, right? You know, you get all those answers from Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and basically people just give you this 30-second pep talk, and it's supposed to be life-changing. And there you are with your thoughts, and then just as quick as you got the information is as quick as it disappears. It's about truth that takes time to unfold. So close your eyes if you can. Let me paint the scene. Let me tell you the stories. Let me help you see. Okay, story number 1. Nostalgia isn't the full story. Picture this. It's a Saturday afternoon. You're at the grocery store, pushing a cart down the aisle, when a familiar melody drifts from the speakers, your song, the one you used to play on repeat during long drives, the one you sang off key while he laughed beside you. And suddenly, you're not in the store anymore. You're back in his car, windows down, hair flying, both of you shouting the lyrics with joy. Your chest tightens, you smile to yourself, then ache a little. You think, God, I miss that. But here's the thing about memory. It's a trickster. It doesn't show you the whole movie. It gives you the highlight reel. What it doesn't replay is the night he didn't come home when he said he would. The silence in the car after a fight. The same song played, but neither of you sang. The way you stared at your phone, waiting for him to text back. The pit in your stomach growing heavier with each hour. Nostalgia edits. It erases the scenes you swore you'd never forget. The ones that kept you up late at night crying. It leaves only the golden flames. And so the real question isn't, do I miss him? It's, do I miss who I thought he was? Do I miss the dream of him more than the man himself? Because often the ache isn't for the person, it's for the feeling of being wanted, the feeling of possibility, and the feelings are not the same as reality. 2. The lesson he left with you. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah was with her boyfriend for 3 years. At first, he was fire, as they say. Sparks. He was charming, magnetic, the kind of man who could light up a room. When he paid attention to her, she felt like the only woman alive. But there was another side. He disappeared for hours, sometimes days. He brushed off her questions with vague excuses. When he was around, it was intoxicating. When he was gone, it was agony. She told herself the highs made the lows worth it. That's what passion is, right? You suffer for the thrill until one night, after waiting 6 hours for him to show up, she sat alone on her couch and finally asked, what am I actually holding on to? Years later, Sarah met someone new. Steady, reliable. At first, she almost rejected him. Too predictable, too calm. Where were the fireworks? But then she realized the steadiness she once called boring was the very thing her soul had been begging for. And she couldn't only recognize it because of the chaos she survived before. She could only recognize it because of the chaos she survived before. So, was that old boyfriend the one who got away? No. He was the one who taught her the value of consistency. Sometimes the man you mourn isn't the love of your life. He's just the painful lesson that cleared the path for the love of your life. Story number 3. The breakup happened for a reason. Every breakup has a root, a reason. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe it was lies. Maybe it was simply that you both wanted different lives. But there was something, and that something matters. Imagine this scene. It's Christmas Eve. You're sitting at his family's dinner table, trying to smile, but underneath you're seething. Because before this gathering, you fought. Again, the fight wasn't about anything new, just another variation of the same argument you've been having for months. The tension sits heavy on your chest as you pass the potatoes. You force a laugh at his cousin's joke, but your mind is replaying the ugly words he said in the car on your way over. And deep down, you know this isn't working. Fast forward a month later, or months later. You're alone, you're scrolling through old photos, and you catch yourself thinking, maybe I shouldn't have ended it. Maybe we could have worked it out. But remember that dinner table? Remember that argument? Remember the knot in your stomach that told you the truth? Those moments are why it ended. Don't let the loneliness trick you into forgetting the pain. Story number 4. The rare times it worked out, or works out. Now let's be fair. There are stories of people who break up and later find their way back. But those stories have one thing in common: transformation, real measurable change. Think of Anna and James. They met in college. Young, fiery, reckless. They broke up in a storm of jealousy and immaturity. 10 years later, they ran into each other at a wedding. Both had lives, new lives, and both of them had lived life, worked on themselves, grown wiser, and this time they built something lasting. But here's the truth. That only happens because they both changed. Deeply, honestly, if they had reunited just 1 year later, nothing would have been different. The same fights, the same wounds, the same ending. So yes, it happens, but it's rare. And unless you see real growth, not just promises, the chances are very, very slim. Number 5. The myth of the one. Here's the hardest pill to swallow. There isn't just one out there for you. Life doesn't work like a fairy tale or like Hollywood. There are many men who could fit, many men who could love you well. The one who got away might simply be the one who showed you what you don't need. Or maybe he was the stepping stone to prepare you for the man who will actually stay. When you tell yourself he was the one, what you might really mean is, I haven't yet met the man who proves why that breakup was necessary. But trust me, when you do, you'll see it clearly. You'll look back at the old heartbreak and think, thank God it didn't work out. Here's a reflection exercise for you. Tonight, I want you to try something real. Take a piece of paper, write down 3 of your worst memories from that relationship. The arguments, the betrayal, the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Sit with them. Feel them again. And then on the other side of the paper, write down the 3 best moments: the laughter, the tenderness, and the intimacy. Now ask yourself, are those good things impossible to find elsewhere? Are those things on the first side of the page things that you can forgive? Or can they exist in a man who also respects you? honors you and doesn't break you. Because the truth is, you don't have to choose between joy and peace. You can actually have both. All this is just a thought, if you're wondering. So was he the one that got away? Or was he just one who broke you? Maybe neither. Maybe he was just the one who showed you what you need to learn, or what you needed to learn. The one who hurt you enough to make you stronger. The one who cleared space for the man who will never let you under. Don't let your mind rewrite history into something sweeter than it actually was. Don't put a crown on a man who walked away, because the man who truly belongs in your story, the one who's loved and who will love you fully, he won't get away. He'll stay. He'll fight for you. He'll choose you every day. This has been an episode of 248 of You're Probably Right. Thank you for sitting with me tonight. Listen, the past may feel heavy, but the future is still unwritten. And trust me, the best chapters are still to come. You never know. It could be the guy who left you was amazing this way or that way, but also remember the pain that was caused in those situations. Sometimes we crave the chaos. Sometimes we crave the valleys and the hilltop. But neither of those, in the valley nor in the hilltop, are the actual road that are going to get you somewhere. Because the distance you travel going up and going down can be a lot shorter than the distance you're going to travel in the long run when you find something that's stable and level. You see, the things that you want when you're 19, 25, maybe even 30, are going to be way different from things that you want at 35, 40, and even farther away when you're 50 and 60. So just remember, youth, it's not forever. Vitality, it's not forever. Muscles, not forever. Looks, they change. Some of us get better looking, some of us not so much. So just remember, keep your eye on the prize and don't look back. Looking back only keeps you from looking forward. And when you're walking and you're looking behind you, chances of you bumping into something and getting hurt, possibilities are very high. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time. Remember to share this episode with somebody maybe who just needs to hear a short little talk. Please rate us on Apple or wherever you can rate us in a good way. I'd appreciate it. And take care. See you next time. Well, I guess you'll hear me next time. Hey, come check out You're Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 dogs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while, understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, well, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.